through the holidays here. How do you guys feel about getting back to work out on the court?
We felt good. It's been a grind. Spending time with the family, enjoying time at home. But whenever we step on the court, it's time to get back to business.
13 points for you today. Just tell me what your mentality was like out there today. What did you want to emphasize and how you think you did?
Points is that, but I feel like I gotta keep staying focused on my defense. Defensive end. College is a new game, so staying focused on everything defensively, making sure I buy into what our keys are defensively, and just keep working on that. I had a good game offensively, but defense is where I gotta hang my hat.
Third time you guys are over 100 points. How do you feel the offense is moving right now?
Our offense is good. We got a lot of weapons. I feel like 1 through however many plays, we got weapons to everybody who subs in. I feel like, coach puts us in a good position. Game plan is always, to the T. And, yeah, we executed it.
Obviously, coming off the bench this year, we see that you bring a lot of energy when you come off the bench. How important is that for you, coming in?
I feel like through my whole life, I feel like I've always been an energy guy. I just feel like that's just my personality and what I can bring, to the court as a freshman. I can bring energy, I can bring a spark, and that's what I gotta do coming on the court off the bench. Yes, sir.
Trey, when you compete against older, I guess, opponents like Landers, and you see him on the court again, what's that like? Is it kind of like a surreal type of situation there?
It's cool. You talk about it with your guys. You talk about going to college all summer. You was hanging out with them, and then all of a sudden y'all go your separate ways, and just connect on the court at the college level. It's always good to play against my guys, yes, sir.
I guess we're 7 games in now for you, freshmen. Are you seeing the court differently? What's the court looking like for you now that we're 7 games in?
The court is looking good. Every game since the first game, I feel like I'm getting more and more comfortable. I still got to get better defensively. The offense is gonna be there. We got a great team, so it just flows. So I just got to keep looking at the defensive end when I go into every game.
Yeah, I told our guys afterwards. I think one of the biggest things we've had to kind of compete with is just human nature, just in general. Just this early on in the year, it's scheduling was an absolute monster for us this off season. I always say it takes 2 to tango, right? And you see across college basketball, obviously great win for Eastern Michigan over Cincinnati at Cincinnati. Great win for Bowling Green at Kansas State last night. I wish we had those opportunities, but we don't. Trust me, we tried to no avail. So we can only play those that'll play us, and that's kind of where we are. It's like I just told our group, just be obsessed with trajectory and not the result. And I think everybody's happy. Obviously, we're 7-0, but at the same time, I got to keep us on a greater trajectory, in my opinion. And I'm not doing a good enough job for our group, and I got to be better. Just overall, we did some positive things though. I mean, obviously we had 6 guys in double figures, 17 assists, which is great. Our ball was moving, but again, our defensive just execution on just ball screen coverage just got to be better. Just got to be tighter. And it's on me, and I got to get our guys there. We gave up too many rebounds. I had 10 offensive rebounds tonight. Got to be better in that regard as well. So we got to get more offensive rebounds. I mean, just again, I want more from our guys, and we got to push, because I don't want to win just because maybe we're more talented, bigger, or more skilled or more athletic. I want to win because we're more connected and we execute better. Because eventually we're going to play against somebody that's bigger, more athletic than us, and then what's going to be our answer? How are we going to beat those teams? So proud of our group. Again, every win, you always want to enjoy every win, right? In college basketball, they're all hard to come by, but at the same time, I got to be better for our guys, just leading us and continue to get us better in practice.
Overall field goal percentage looked good. The threes and frees, you'd probably like to see a little better in a couple weeks, but then again, probably a little bit to be expected when you're playing that many players that much time.
Yeah. Again, I had to go back and watch film, obviously, on all the threes that we took. I thought we took some really contested ones early in the shot clock in the first half, specific. We talked about that at half. I felt like, we were taking some quick ones. Again, I don't mind. I want to give our guys the neon green light, but with that comes a lot of responsibility, right? You got to take the right ones. I thought we took a few quick ones and settled. But, for the most part, our guys do a pretty good job moving the ball and stuff. And again, shots will come and go a little bit, but like, can we keep on attacking the rim? We got to the free throw line 26 times. You mentioned today, I think we were top 10 in the country in free throw percentage. And tonight we were 17 for 26. It's like, man, that's not good enough. So we got to be way better in that area. So again, we're strength in numbers. Like you said it, we played a lot of guys tonight, obviously. And it sometimes can be hard getting a rhythm when that happens, when you're kind of subbing in, subbing out, hockey sub. But we're a team that's going to play always strength in numbers, right? And it's because that's our advantage is we have so much depth. And we can come at you in waves and hopefully wear teams down. So it's not really. We're not going to use that as an excuse of why we didn't make shots. But I gotta get us more shots, probably up outside of practice as well. You're always looking at the why, some things that maybe you can control, right? And so I got to be on our guys a little bit more about that.
You've talked about breaking the game down into 4-minute wars in between each media timeout. How important is doing that in a game like this, and how do you think the team did just staying engaged throughout the game tonight?
Yeah, I think we finished 9-1. We lost the last one, which is disappointing. Obviously, our goal was to win all 10, but it just helps keep the game. Rather than looking up at the scoreboard, hey, if you're down, you could be down 20 or up 20. The only way is you got to be able to focus in that moment, right, and not dwell on the past. And you can't play the scoreboard. So we try to restart the scoreboard 0-0 in our head. So it's the first thing that I always talk about during every media timeout is what did we do in that last 4-minute round? Did we win? Did we lose? Did we tie? Where's it at? How much did we win by? How many kills do we have as well? Like, are we on 3 kills? And hey, we're on 2 stops coming out here. We got our opportunity to get our 4th kill. I think we finished with 10 for the game, which our goal is to get 7. So try to give our guys little victories, because it is, if you look over the course of 40 minutes, it's easy to look up at that scoreboard and say, hey, I'm going to kind of coast now. We restart that scoreboard every 4-minute round. And then in those kills, I think also just engage our guys throughout the game.
These type of games are big for growth. How have you seen these freshmen really mature and grow?
Yeah, I think all 3 guys had some real positive moments. I thought Trey Perry had some terrific passes there in the second half, man. Aggressive. He can obviously score the ball. He's so physically strong. He's got to continue to get better on that defensive end. That's something we're really harping on him about, because I know some of the guards that we're going to have to play in MAC play. And it's like, can he guard Tavari Johnson? Right? Like, can you guard Medley up at Kent State? Those guys are old. They're veterans. They're 22, 23 years old, and they're really good players. And so they have the experience factor on a guy like Trey. So he's got to continue to work on that, especially off the ball on the defensive end. And then Kyle Waltz, didn't shoot the ball particularly well from 3 tonight, but very productive. Got all the faith in the world in him shooting it. He's a 40% level 3-point shooter in practice for us. But he's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. He rebounds. He can pass. He can handle. He's 6'7". You just see his confidence growing. Trey's always got confidence. He's got that swagger to him and that belief that he's the best guy in the gym every time he walks in there, and that's what makes Trey a really good player. Kyle just has to have that belief, because he's got it. He can do a lot of things. And then Tyler, I think he's just showcasing, like, I think against Greensboro, he hit 2 threes in the first half. And then tonight it was more interior work for him. And he's a guy that can play all over the floor offensively for us. And he could be a rim protector as well. Had 3 blocks tonight. I think he's a guy that's got incredible touch, his length and rebounding around the rim. And we're going to need that in MAC play. I can tell you that. I mean, he's every bit of 6'11", and we're going to need his size and his skill set.
Yeah, you talked about how there's basically 7 starters on this team. Talk about that depth that you guys kind of showed today. You played 10 consistently all night. Can you talk about how that depth can really help you, especially heading into MAC play here soon?
Yeah, I think, with foul trouble, with injuries, they're bound to happen. You don't want them to happen, but they happen. I think our guys never foul. All right, but the officials think they do. So it's having that depth protection in a lot of ways over the course of a long season. We play 31 regular season games, 18 MAC conference games, and to put ourselves in the best position to win the championship, man. And even the regular season, you got to have a lot of depth. And then you look at the MAC tournament. It's like you got to play 3 games in 3 days. And how can you be ready and fresh in that 3rd game, right? Which is difficult to do. I think that you got to have depth. I looked at it, done a research when I first took the job here. I'd say you got to play at least 9 nine's probably the right number to play to give yourself an opportunity to win the MAC tournament.